to beat the shit out of you there. My body was so sore. Mine too.
Really?
Oh, God.
Huh. Hello, hello, hi. Peggy, how are you?
Good. I'm down here, but I have a meeting that I have to rush to, so that's why I'm not in studio.
Okay, all right. Well, good to
You
see you. I
know?
was thinking about you last week and wondering if you guys were going to be down soon.
Yeah, we did. We sold the little condo.
My dad told me that. I guess he and Al were texting.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was right or wrong, but we just like, all right, 3 properties, it's time to. So when I came here, they had moved most of the stuff, not furniture, but stuff into this condo. So it was like, oh God, I got to start over again. So I will see.
Trying to do technology while I'm talking to you. All right, here's spotlight.
That's all right. I'll mute.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everyone. All right, 9:01 already. How'd that happen? Mute. All right, I think we are just about ready. How's everyone feeling this morning? Good. Yeah, just and feels a little distracting. So starting in a comfortable seat this morning, if you brought a blanket or a towel to set it up like I have here, if not, you can use your block to prop your seat up a little bit. And I'll show you, have it go this way so that the 2 sit bones can rest on the edge. So you're not sitting directly on it where it's going to cause your pelvic to tilt forward. You want to be able to sit on the edge of it. And have your knees come out to the side. So see how I've got now more of my pelvic tilting forward. So I can find a nice straight spine where the spine is feeling perpendicular to the floor. Another option would be what we call hero's pose or virasana. And you place the block long ways in between your ankle bones. Bring your knees together and then bring your seat to the block like that. And you can see how you can achieve a nice tall spine in this pose as well. So find that comfortable seat to start. Close your eyes and begin to tune in. So glad that you're all here. My name is Nancy, for those who I'm just meeting. This class is a nice combination of basics meets gentle flow. We focus on our breath, especially here in the start of the practice, a simple breath awareness, where you're following your inhales and your exhales. One of the 8 limbs of yoga is called dharana, which means concentration. So we're going to focus on that a little bit today. Read a passage from one of my teacher's teacher books called Jivamukti Yoga. And Sharon writes, in all yoga practices, including meditation, the practices are designed to reveal the existing happiness in every cell and tissue of the body and every thought wave of the mind. Through these practices, the yogi seeks to clear the mind of all thoughts that cloud the truth of the psyche, that the inner soul or self exists eternally in a state of happiness, To truly be happy, we must bring the mind into a condition of clear perception. With clear perception, the mind reflects the self like a clean mirror. In the first chapter of the Yoga Sutras, which are an ancient scripture, Patanjali, who translated those sutras, asks or answers the question, what is yoga? Yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations or whirlings of the mind. In Sanskrit, it's yoga chittavritti nirodha. So in essence, when you stop identifying with your thoughts, the fluctuations of mind, then there is yoga. And yoga is the identification with the self, samadhi, happiness, bliss, and maybe even ecstasy. So with dharana concentration, it helps to control those whirlings in our mind. So right now, if you're feeling like there's thoughts coming into your mind, draw all your attention, all your concentration to the simple act of inhaling through both nostrils and exhaling through both nostrils. Do that for 5 rounds of breath. When those 5 rounds are complete for you, take a moment just to observe and explore and feel how the body and mind are right now and what state they're in. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Start of our practice, we set an intention which helps to serve as a guide for your practice this morning. So this is kind of your why to come onto the mat. So choose your why, form an intention around it so that you can maybe draw from that throughout the practice this morning. We'll open with the sound of Om. If you're not comfortable chanting, that's fine. You can just listen. If you'd like to join us, we do it on the exhale. So take first a clearing breath. Take a full inhale and exhale it out fully. And then inhale. Let the arms come down, flicker the eyes open, and let's start on our backs this morning. So remove the block and then come to lie fully on your back. Take a moment to let everything settle, the arch in your back. Let the arms come alongside. Press the middle of your back into the mat. Feel where you're grounding. So maybe the back of the head, the shoulder blades, your glutes, backs of the calves, heels. And now inhale, take the arms overhead and point your toes. Get nice and long, feel that arch naturally form in your back. And then exhale, purposely let that arch press against the mat, lowering the arms alongside, and now drawing the toes back towards you. Push the heels away from you. Inhale, take the arms, float them overhead and point your toes. Another long stretch, letting that natural arch in your back form. And then exhale, lower the arms alongside your body. Draw the toes towards you, pushing heels away. One more time. Inhale, feel the muscles that this is affecting. You feel it in your shoulders, maybe. And then exhale, lowering the arms. When you draw the toes towards you, where are you feeling the stretch then? Maybe in the backs of the calves. And then relax and slide the heels in towards you, and then draw the knees into your chest. Draw them all the way in where you feel your low back lifting up off the mat. Now bring your forehead to your knees. Breathe here, a couple breaths to feel the breath reach the back of your neck. And then lower the head. Let the legs just move away from you a little bit. So the knees are still in line with hips. And now you feel that low back on the mat. That's your sacrum. Take your hands, fingers are pushing away from you. Press your palms onto your knees, and now press your knees into your palms. So you feel that pressing down and that pushing up at the same time, which hopefully allows that low back to release and press against the mat. Take a couple breaths there to feel the low back release. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So if your hands, move them to the top of your knees, the palms, so bring them up here. Yes, yeah. So when you're pressing, so move the palms to the tops. Sorry, I guess I'm saying that. Slide them down. What would we call that? To me, it's the top of the knee. So slide them down to here. So there, and now press the palms in as you push the knees up. You feel that across the low back? It's a beautiful release for that low back area. And then relax, bring the feet to the mat. Knees are pointing straight up. Now draw the right knee into your chest while keeping that left foot on the mat. Start to extend that right leg up to the ceiling, interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh. And only go as deep. Try not to pull the leg towards you. Think more about pressing the heel up to the ceiling. So you feel that stretch in the back of the right leg. Breathing into that hamstring muscle. And now if you want to take this a little deeper, slide that left foot out so that left leg is resting on the mat, but make it active. Flex the left foot if you've extended it. But if you want to keep the knee bent, you can. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Rebend that right knee and then take it out to the side so that you're dropping the sole of that right foot to the inside of the left leg for tree pose on our backs. Take your left hand, place it on your left hip. So keeping that left side grounded. Opening that right hip. And that right foot could be against the inside thigh or inside calf. Just don't press it against the inside of your knee. So find that edge for yourself. So picture standing on that left leg and that you're in standing tree pose. So press into that left foot as if you're standing on it. And then draw that right knee back to center. Slide the left heel in and then draw the left knee into your chest. Begin to extend that left leg, interlace the fingers behind the left thigh and press that left foot up toward the ceiling. Thinking more about lengthening and breathing into that hamstring than pulling that left leg closer to you. So just find that length. And then if you want to slide the right foot out, taking that right leg onto the mat, it's going to deepen the pose a little bit. So if that's too much of a stretch for you, just go ahead and keep that right foot on the mat. Lengthen that left leg just a little bit more, and then rebend that left knee. Drop the left knee out to the side, resting it on the mat. And if your right knee is still bent, go ahead and extend it at this point so that the left foot can come to the inside of that right leg. Flexing the right foot and pressing through the heel as if you're standing on it. Hands can rest on the hips to help the hips open. So in tree pose, we're balancing, but we're also opening our hips. Takes concentration. One more full breath, inhale and exhale, and then lift that left knee to center. Slide the right foot in and draw both knees into your chest again. And then take the hands underneath the knees. Begin to rock back and forth. Massage up the spine. Take at least 3 rocks and rolls back and forth. And then get enough momentum to bring you up to place your feet in front of you in preparing for our TP twist. So really feel like you're sitting up tall on your sit bones. Knees are in line with hips and feet. And then wrap the left arm around the knees. Take the right hand behind. Straighten that right arm. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. So you're twisting from the navel up. Maybe looking over that right shoulder, but keeping the sit bones grounded. If you feel like you're rocking off of that left sit bone, come out of the twist a little bit more and ground down through both sit bones. One more full inhale. And on your exhale, come through center, wrap the right arm around the front of the knees, left hand behind. Use that left hand almost like a kickstand where it's helping you to lengthen. And exhale into the twist, maybe looking over that left shoulder, depending on your neck and how much space there is. So part of our yoga practice is creating space in our bodies. So using our breath to help create that space. And then exhale, coming back through center. Bring your seat back so you're extending both legs. Flex your feet. Rock forward a little bit. Take the flesh away from the sit bones so you can sit up even taller. Take the hands on either side of your hips. Spread the fingers. Press into the palms to lengthen the spine. We call this staff pose or Dandasana. And now engage your thighs so your heels maybe lift up off the mat. Press the big toes away from you. Draw the pinky toes toward you. And then switch. Push the pinky toes away from you. Pull the toes toward you. Push the big toes away from you. Pull the pinky toes toward you. And and release, relax, little concentration. Kind of like patting your belly or rubbing and patting. Now reverse tabletop. So if you find that reverse tabletop is challenging for you, I recommend putting blocks behind so that your hands can rest on the blocks. Bring your feet where your knees were. Every body is different. So you want to bring your feet to where your knees just were. So if you want to see how it's done with blocks, you can look up front. You're going to press the palms into the blocks, lifting the hips up. If you're doing it without blocks, hands come to the mat behind you, fingers pointing to the sit bones, and then lifting up, extending the arms. So come up on an inhale, whether you're using blocks or not. And then lifting the hips so that you're finding where your front part of the body is level. Options for the head, you can either have your chin to your chest, or you can drop the head back, opening up the throat. Couple more deep breaths, full breaths. Feel that extension in the arms. Maybe lift a little bit higher on this inhale, and then exhale, lowering it down. Bringing the legs out in front of you, windshield wiper the feet side to side, shake out the legs, and then cross the legs for sitting in Sukhasana. And take the hands, bring them to prayer, and then roll to the back. So the backs of your hands are touching. Roll the hands out. So keep contact with the backs of your hands, roll them in. So just a little bit of a wrist stretch for you. Roll them back out and come toward you, reversing. And back out, and then take your right hand, place it on the backs of the front of your fingers and stretch that wrist. Maybe straighten the arm. And then switch. And breathe. And relax. Arms float overhead, interlace the fingers, turn the palms to face up, lengthen. Draw the belly in, taking the arch out of the back, lengthening the arms. Inhale. On an exhale, lower shoulder height and press the palms away from you. So flexing the hands, feeling that stretch across the chest and arms. And if you're like me, feeling those sensations means you type or text a lot. One more inhale and exhale, lowering down. Take the arms overhead again, and then we're going to twist to the right. So once again, using that back hand almost like a kickstand to help lengthen. Looking over that right shoulder, maybe there's more space. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale, bring the arms through center, float them overhead, and then twisting to the other side. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale, and then inhale, coming to center, floating the arms overhead, and then rock forward, coming to tabletop, separating the legs. So your knees are in line with your hips. You're stacking your shoulders with your elbows and wrists. Spread the fingers. When you press into the hands, try and press into your thumbs, index fingers, and the tips of your third, fourth, fifth fingers. By doing that, it takes weight off your wrists. It makes a little space under your palm, and it helps, again, with taking the weight out of your wrists. And then draw the navel in. So on an inhale, draw that belly button in toward your spine to find a neutral spine. And exhale the breath out. Now on this inhale, you're keeping that navel drawn in. Tilt your tailbone up, lift the crown of your head for cow pose. On your exhale, lift the spine, round the back, tuck your chin to your chest, and now you're tucking the tailbone. Inhale, come back into cow, keep that belly engaged. Exhale into cat. Inhale, we're moving with our breath. On our inhale, we're opening the chest. On the exhale, maybe finding a little bit more space across the shoulders and neck. One more, inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. And then come back to neutral. Extend the right leg back, come on your toes. Drop your right heel down, stretching the back of that right leg. Inhale, pulse forward. Exhale, drop that heel down. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, heel down. And then on this one, you're gonna lift that right leg. Keep the toes pointing to the floor. Press through that right heel, lengthening that right leg. On your next inhale, lift the left arm up by the ear. Palm is facing in to help that left shoulder externally rotate. Draw the navel in. So if you're caving in, by drawing the navel in, it will help find that neutral spine again. And draw that right hip down a little bit so you're leveling the hips. Nice, everyone. One more full breath. The spinal balance. Lower the left hand, lower the right leg, and then take your knees as wide as your mat. Draw the toes to touch, and then push your seat back to your heels for wide-legged child's pose. Lowering the chest down, lowering the forehead to the mat. Arms are extended out in front of you, but nice and relaxed. 5 full breaths here. So this pose is available to you at any point in a practice. Even if the whole class is doing some other pose, if this is what you feel you need, you can take it. Child's pose is an opportunity for us to reconnect with our breath. On your next inhale, begin to lift back up to tabletop, and we'll do the other side. So find your alignment first. Draw the navel in, extend that left leg back, come up on the toes, and then drop that left heel down to the floor. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, lifting that left leg. Keep the hips level. So you can level out the hips by drawing that left hip down and then pressing through the heel. Also, keeping the toes pointing toward the floor will help level that hip. Inhale, right arm up when you're ready. Keep that engagement in the belly. And see if you can feel a little bit longer in your reach with the right hand and in pressing through the heel of the left. Beautiful. Gaze looking down at the mat so that your neck is an extension of the spine. And then exhale, lower that right arm down, left knee down. We're going to come into supported side plank. So turn your left from the knee down to the ankle, turn it out on an angle. And then keep this left hand pressing into the mat. We're gonna roll that right hip up. Plant the right foot so the toes are pointing to the front of the room, and take that right arm straight up. So we're in a beautiful alignment here, opening that right side. Also making a long line from the left hand across the chest, up through the right. See if you could draw that right hip open a little bit more, drawing the left hip under, and then lower back down. We'll do the other side. So come back to tabletop. Take the right shin and calf out on an angle, and then that's just to support yourself. And then begin to roll onto the right hand. Left foot plants. Left arm lifts. Draw the belly in, opening that left hip to the ceiling. Feel the extension from the right hand across the chest out through the left fingertips. And lower back down to hands and knees. Extend both legs back. Plank pose, finding a strong plank here, belly's not sagging, hips aren't lifted, nice line of energy from the heels out through the crown of the head. So coming into side plank, from plank, you would roll onto your left edge of your foot. Take the right arm up and stack the feet. If that's too intense, move the right foot in front so that you're supporting yourself with that right foot and able to lift the hips. And then roll back down to plank. Come into the other side, begin to roll onto the right hand. Stack the feet, left arm lifts up, or plant that left foot in front. Lifting up. Beautiful. Roll back down to plank. And then drop your knees down. Hug the elbows in as you lower your chin and chest. Keeping the sit bones lifting up high, and then slide forward onto the belly, pressing up into cobra, remembering cues from previous weeks, press into the tops of your feet, hands are by your lowest set of ribs, inhale, lift up, and exhale, lower down, tuck your toes under, push your seat all the way back to your heels, arms fully extended, and now lift the shins and knees up. Continue straightening the legs, lifting the hips up into downward facing dog. So as we come into downward dog, pushing our seat back to our heels first helps us get that beautiful extension in the arms and that lengthening in our spine. One more full breath. Draw the navel in so your hips can maybe lift a little bit higher. And now tilt your gaze to look between your hands. Walk one footprint at a time up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Find that flat back, just like in tabletop. Draw the navel in. Inhale, lift the arms up shoulder height. Still feeling that engagement in the belly. Press into the feet, lift with a flat back all the way to standing. Oh, okay? Okay. And arms float overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. So finding mountain pose, palms face forward, feet are in line with your hips. So take a look at your feet. If they're turning out a little bit, bring them forward so your toes are facing the front of your mat. So energetically standing in mountain pose here, pressing into your feet. Inhale, take the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, extend the index finger pointing straight up. On an inhale, lengthen. On an exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale through center, side bend to the right. Inhale through center, side bend to the left. Through center, side bend to the right. Come to center, pause for a moment. So just a little instruction. When you're side bending, try not to bend here. Try and reach higher, lengthen, so that this side isn't getting squished. So you're really lengthening both sides. So one more time, inhale, come to center. Lengthen, exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale through center, side bend to the right. Beautiful. And then coming to center, float the arms out to the side, begin to hinge at the hips, tilt your tailbone up, lead with the heart as you come in to your forward fold. So your forward fold can be modified. You can place hands on a block at whatever height is comfortable. You can put a little bend in your knees. But we're looking to give our hamstrings, backs of the legs, and our low back a nice stretch here. We're also looking to let the head hang so that you can release tension in the neck. Maybe even shake the head yes and no. And now put a big bend in your knees and roll. Let the head hang. Let the spine round. Let the head be the last to come up. Inhale, float the arms overhead. And exhale, dive back down into Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. This time, lift with a flat back. Press into the feet, take the arms out wide, sweep them overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. One more, just like that. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, tilt the tailbone, lead with the heart, come into your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms around, overhead, palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. Bend the knees, take your seat back, coming into chair pose. You want your knees behind the toes. Inhale, arms lift up by the ears. Breathing in. Breathing out, softening shoulders away from ears. If you feel an arch in your back, try and tuck your tailbone. Breathe in, breathe out. Find a drishti to focus on, to take your mind off of how much you might be working. And then inhale, straighten your legs. Take your arms up a little higher, maybe arch back just a little bit. Hands to heart center, Tadasana. So finding a drishti, a point of concentration in front of you, can help with concentration. We're going to move into a balance, doing one-legged chair. So feet are about hip distance apart, bending the knees as if you're coming in a chair. Bring your hands to heart center. That can help, and find a drishti in front of you. Put your weight into your left foot. Take your right ankle, cross it on top of your left thigh. So making like a shelf there. So if you've crossed it, see if you can then bend that left knee a little deeper. And then straighten that left leg, release the right. That's okay. And then do you want to do eagle leg still, or because we're doing one-legged chair? Okay, okay. So doing the other side, bend your knees, find your drishti, put weight into your right foot, lift your left knee, cross the left ankle on top of that right thigh. Flex the left foot. Maybe bend that right knee a little deeper. Inhale, straighten that right leg, release the left, and shake it out. So taking our mind off of the actual pose, maybe onto your breath, or maybe one little part of a pose like your foot and your toes can help sometimes increase that concentration. So now we're going to do tree pose. So find your drishti, turn your right knee out to the side, bringing the heel and the sole of the foot to the inside of that left leg. Hands start in prayer. So you can keep your toe resting on the floor. You can slide up to your calf, just not your knee. So maybe staying at your calf, or like Nick's doing, inside thigh. And then when you're ready, growing the branches of your tree. So see where you can bring your concentration, either to that spot in front of you. So it's a single point of focus. Maybe in that left foot where you feel it rooting down. And then hands to heart center. Hug that right knee into your chest. Maybe rotate the foot a few times, one direction and then the other. And relax it down, and then shake out that side. So our sides are different. You have a dominant leg, you have a dominant side. Balance poses help us to even that out. So now turning the left knee out, putting weight into that right foot. Hands start in prayer. So option to stay here with the toe resting on the mat or lifting to the calf. Maybe to the inside thigh. Just match whatever you did on the other side. And then challenge yourself to think about only one thing. Let softness wash over you. Hands come back to heart center. Hug that left knee in. Rotate the ankle. A few times one direction and then the other direction. Beautiful. Come to the top of your mat. Stand in Tadasana for a moment and close your eyes. Lift your toes and spread them. Feel your feet rooting into the earth. And just take a moment to feel sensations in the body and the mind. Open the eyes. Inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step both feet back to our plank pose. Nice strong line of energy. Exhale, knees down to the mat. Hug the elbows in as you bend at the elbows, lowering chin and chest. Inhale, slide forward onto the belly. Press into the tops of the feet. Let the energy come from the legs as you lift the upper body for cobra. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, press into the tops of the feet, lift up into cobra. Exhale, lower down. One more. Press into the tops of the feet, kneecaps are lifting off the mat. Press up, cobra. And exhale, lower down. Make a pillow with your hands, rest your forehead on the backs of your hands, bend your knees, and windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Breathe into the back of the neck with your head a little lifted. It creates some space there. And then slow down. Let the legs come back down to the mat, and we're going to all roll onto our backs to set up for bridge pose for our back bend. Have your block. Take your block, short end into your hand, place it in between your thighs, and then come onto your back, slide your heels towards your sit bones so that you can reach your heels with your longest finger, the tip of your longest finger. Turn your toes in just a little bit toward each other. And then with the block, now your knees and your hips are in line. On an inhale, press into your feet, lift the hips up, maybe lift the middle of your back up. Maybe the chest is lifting toward your chin. And then come to where your edge is and breathe 5 breaths. So really feel the breath move from your low belly up to your collarbone and back down. Feel like you're using your muscles evenly. If you're clenching anywhere, try and soften. Thighs are engaged, glutes engaged. We don't want to turn our head in bridge to protect our neck. So keep the nose facing the ceiling. And then on an exhale, lower down slowly 1 vertebrae at a time. Keep the block where it is. Just take a full breath to reset. And then when you're ready, press into your feet, lifting the hips. Yeah. And breathe once you are lifted up. Feeling that engagement in all parts of your body. We want to try and use the muscles evenly in bridge pose. And when those 5 breaths are complete, lower down 1 vertebrae at a time. And then take the block out, draw the knees into your chest, rock a little bit from side to side. And then making our way into revolve abdomen twist, come back to neutral, keeping the knees drawn into the chest. Let the arms float out, shoulder height, and turn the palms up. So you're making a T with your arms. And now draw the knees into your chest a little bit more, lower them down to the left. All the way down to the floor. If the right leg is not touching the left, put a block in between the thighs. That helps to release the lower back. But you want to try and have that left leg totally releasing down onto the floor. So let the foot drop as well. So we like to keep our knees in line with our navel in twists to help protect the low back, the lumbar spines. We do twists to help our intestines, our digestive system, to help release toxins. If you feel that right shoulder lifted, see if you could tuck the shoulder blade under to help that shoulder and arm release down a little bit more and relax. And then draw the knees through center, find neutral. So find neutral spine before the other side. So take the arms out, shoulder height again, and then slowly lower the knees down to the right. And then tucking that left shoulder under. And breathe. Palms face up, help to externally rotate the shoulders. Feel that full breath from your low belly moving up to your collarbone and back down. And then bringing the knees back to center. Remove the block if you used one. And give yourself a hug, drawing the knees into your chest, lifting the forehead up to the knees. And then lower the feet to the mat, lower the head, and walk the feet out as wide as the mat. Let the knees come together. Just allow that low back to release. And then windshield wiper the knees from side to side slowly. Your hip can lift a little bit. So try and have one knee come to the inside of the other. Yep, really roll from side to side, letting the knees drop down one side and then the other. And then when they go to the left, leave them there. So drop them down to the left, float the right arm overhead. Tuck that right shoulder under so that you can feel that right arm release. So a little psoas release here. If you want to intensify it a little bit, lift that left foot, gently rest it on top of the right thigh knee. And then we'll take it to the other side. So release that left foot, lower the right arm, windshield wiper the knees over to the right. So start just by dropping them down and then float that left arm overhead, tuck that left shoulder under so that left arm can relax. And then only as an option, lifting that right foot, placing it on the left. Letting that psoas release. Breathe in and breathe out. And then release that foot if it's there. Windshield wiper the knees back to neutral, hug them in. And give yourself a really, really big squeeze. Like hug everything in, maybe even scrunch your face, make everything tight. Take an inhale. Side out, just release. And then extend one leg And then the other onto the mat, coming into our final resting pose of Shavasana, probably one of the most important poses of our practice. So in coming into Shavasana, we're letting our practice sink in. Starting with the feet. Draw your attention to your toes, let them relax. To your feet, letting them drop out to the side. Relax the muscles in your calves, in your kneecaps, in your thighs. Focus on the belly. Let the muscles in the belly relax. Allow your whole back to melt into the mat. Let the backs of your arms be heavy. And let go of any tension in your fingers and your hands. Sharing a reading from a good friend of mine, a yogi. Her name is Jillian Pransky. Take a moment to gather yourself here. Let your body land on the ground. Let your breath arrive in your body. Let your mind rest on your breath in your body. Here, now. Welcome the breath with a receptive belly. Your breath will gently unravel the tension it meets. Your breath will tenderly expand you inside. Allow your breath to unwind you, unfurl you. Let yourself be opened by your breath. Allow your breath to rise and fall. Let it flow in and out of you on its own, softening everything in its path, expanding you. You're bigger than you think you are. Letting the breath be involuntary here. Begin to deepen your breath. Invite small movements back in, wiggling your fingers and toes. Circling wrists and ankles. Inhaling arms overhead, take a nice long stretch. Drawing the knees into your chest, rolling onto your right side. And take a couple breaths there. Coming back to the words in the start of the class, the yogi seeks to clear the mind of all thoughts that cloud the truth of the psyche, that the inner soul or self exists externally in a state of happiness. And begin to lift up to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed or at a soft gaze. And when you find that seat, bring the hands to heart center and bow the head softly. And take a moment just to recall your intention. And also maybe recall any moments during the practice, even if it were just for a second, where you felt free of all thoughts. And that for that moment or moments is dharana. We'll take a full inhale and clear it out on the exhale. And then inhale, chanting Om. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Hi, Deb. Good. Glad you enjoyed it. Happy Monday. Hope this is a good start to your week. Just a reminder, I will be on vacation next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. So there's unfortunately the person I usually get to sub is not available either. And Angela wasn't here today. We were going to ask her to see if she was interested in filling in, but so I don't know. I guess no class.
No yoga class.
Right.
There will be classes on Monday. Maura, who teaches on Wednesdays and Fridays, has agreed to come in and do her 2 classes. For Sloan will do hers at 7:30.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be in the Friday flash.
Okay.
Great. Great. Thank you all
Thank you,
so
Nancy.
much. So have a wonderful holiday, however you're spending it. Be safe. And then I'll see you that following Monday.